Hello everyone, my name is Jessica, and today I'll be talking about a very interesting and dangerous but very legal drug. Seconal, also known as seconal sodium and secobarbital, is a barbiturate derivative that possesses anesthetic, anticonvulsant, anti-anxiety, sedative, and hypnotic properties. For the next few minutes, I will present to you my knowledge about the drug's history, its relevance to society, the drug's uses and mechanism of action, as well as its side effects. I will also be talking about withdrawal and addiction in regards to Seconal. And lastly, I will provide you with some of the interesting facts I found out about Seconal. First and foremost, we should start with a little bit of history about the drug. Seconal was patented in 1934 in the US by Eli Lilly and Company. Later, in 1998, Ranbaxy Pharmaceuticals, which is an Indian-based company, obtained the right to use the trade name Seconal. More recently, Marathon Pharmaceuticals and Valent Pharmaceuticals obtained the rights to market for Seconal. Since the patent expired in the early 1990s, generic versions of the drug exist. However, no generic versions are available on the US market currently. Seconal was widely misused in the 1960s and 1970s and was commonly associated with overdose. It gained its street names such as Red Dolls, Red Birds, and Red Devils from the red color of the capsule. Typical route of administration is through oral capsules. However, since it is highly soluble, it has also been reported to have been injected into the bloodstream. Seconal is FDA approved for the treatment of epilepsy, insomnia, as well as the use of preoperative medication to produce anesthesia before short surgical, diagnostic, or therapeutic procedures that involve minimal pain. It is also approved as an anti-anxiety sedative before surgery. It cannot be used for more than 14 days because it loses its effectiveness and will lead to tolerance buildup. A normal nightly adult dose of Seconal in a pill is 100 milligrams. However, before surgery, you can have 200 to 300 milligrams of Seconal. A lethal dose becomes from 1 gram of Seconal to 10 grams of Seconal. The most common side effects for Seconal are somnolence, which is a state of strong desire to sleep or sleeping for unusually long periods, dizziness, slight memory loss and lack of concentration, and a feeling of being hungover the next day. More serious side effects include nightmares, feeling like you're going to pass out, slow or shallow breathing. Seconal should not be taken with any other drugs that suppress the central nervous system, including prescription painkillers, antibiotics, or over-the-counter medicine like Tylenol. Interestingly, Seconal has been found to interfere with birth control. It causes certain birth control measures to fail, such as the pill, patches, rings, implants, and intrauterine devices. Now, let's take a look at the neurobiology of the drug. As we've learned so far, barbiturates are sedatives that slow down the nervous system. They relax muscles, calm nerves, and slow down the body to produce drowsiness. Barbiturates act as positive allosteric modulators and at higher doses as agonists of GABA-A receptors. At different levels of the drug, we have different effects. For example, at lower levels, it can alter mood like alcohol does. However, at higher levels, the drug causes sedation, sleep, coma, and even death. Seconal has the highest lipid solubility, highest plasma protein binding, highest brain protein binders, the shortest delay in onset of activity, as well as the shortest duration of action. It is also classified as a short-acting barbiturate when taken orally, and its onset of action is 10 to 15 minutes, and its duration of action ranges from 3 to 4 hours. Seconal has a half-life of 15 to 40 hours, with an average half-life of about 28 hours. This means that in an urine test, it'll show up to 2 to 10 days. In a blood test, it'll show up 1 to 2 days. And in hair, it can show up as long as 90 days after consumption. More specifically, Seconal has been associated with binding at a distinct binding site, which is associated with the chlorine ionophore at the GABA-A receptor, increasing the duration of time that the chlorine ionophore is open. This results in the postsynaptic inhibitory effect of GABA-A to be prolonged. We all have learned about the addiction cycle and the components of addiction, which are genetic, psychological, and environmental factors. Abuse of the drug can lead to physical dependence, in which case the withdrawal process can be life-threatening. Addiction to prescribed drugs has become a problem because we mistakenly believe that all kinds of prescribed drugs are safer than street drugs, which is definitely not the case. Barbiturates have been shown to be highly addictive. Though this may not be a very fun fact, it is certainly interesting to me to find out that Seconal is the most frequently used drug in physician-assisted suicide within the United States, which is also surprising to find out that is legal in only 6 states in the country, one of those being California. Physician-assisted suicide involves a doctor willingly, knowingly, and intentionally providing a person with the knowledge or means, or both, required to commit suicide. This includes counseling about lethal doses of drugs and prescribing such lethal doses or supplying the drug as well. Though this topic is obviously very controversial, we can see the properties of Seconal as a sedative being applied, and it makes sense because of its very low therapeutic to lethal ratio I spoke about earlier. The other states that have legalized physician-assisted suicide are Oregon, Montana, Washington, Vermont, Colorado, as well as Washington, D.C. Another kind of disturbing fact that I found out about Seconal is that 39 members of the Heaven's Gate cult, which was a religious group that was founded in 1974 in San Diego, California, conducted a mass suicide by ingesting Seconal with alcohol in 1997 in Rancho Santa Fe, California. This was an attempt to reach an extraterrestrial spacecraft. I know, crazy, right? Well, that is all I have for you all today, and that is Seconal in a nutshell. I hope you all learned something new, interesting, and educational from today's presentation, and thank you all for your time.